putting hands on me. I pay for this membership like everyone else, and I'm not leaving because you feel uncomfortable.
Ma'am, you don't belong here. You should be out on the street.
You came at me with your hand on your taser. I'm standing right here in a dress, holding a yoga mat. What exactly do you think I'm about to do?
I just need to resolve the... Ma'am, I'm asking you to lower your voice and step back. Let's talk about this calmly.
This woman made the worst mistake of her life when she called the police on the wrong person at her gym. Before we continue, let me take this opportunity to thank you so much for supporting our channel. Just choosing to watch our video means a lot to us. Before we go any further, tell us, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if this is your first time here. Simone Harper had exactly 20 minutes before her best friend's birthday dinner. She'd planned everything perfectly, getting a quick workout at Elevation Fitness, shower, change into the emerald dress hanging in her locker, and head to the restaurant by 7. At 30 years old, Simone had mastered the art of time management. As a state attorney, her entire career depended on it. She stepped off the elevator on the 3rd floor, her gym bag slung over her shoulder. She'd just grab her yoga mat from her locker and do some stretching before the dinner. That's when she saw Rebecca Winters watching her from behind the front desk. Rebecca was the gym manager, mid-40s, blonde hair pulled back tight, always watching. Simone had felt her stares before, but never thought much of it. Elevation Fitness sat in the heart of Meadowbrook, one of the wealthiest and whitest neighborhoods in the city. Simone had joined because it was close to her office. She'd been a member for 8 months. Simone nodded politely and kept walking toward the locker room. Rebecca immediately picked up her phone. Simone didn't notice. She was already thinking about her workout, about the dinner, about the case she had to prep for Monday morning. She pushed open the locker room door and set her bag down. 15 minutes later, Simone was near the elevator, yoga mat in hand, heading toward the stretching area. That's when she heard heavy footsteps behind her. "Excuse me, stop right there." Simone turned around. Officer Derek Walsh stood 10 feet away, hand resting on his belt, body cam clipped to his chest. He was 35, white, with cold blue eyes and a jaw set like stone. "Can I help you?" Simone asked, confused. "I need to see some ID," Walsh said, his tone flat and demanding. Simone blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" "ID, now." "Why? I'm a member here. I'm just about to work out." Walsh took a step closer. "We got a call about suspicious activity, someone who doesn't belong here. That's you." Simone felt her stomach drop. Suspicious activity? She looked down at herself. What exactly was suspicious about that? "I'm a paying member of this gym. I've been coming here for 8 months. There's no suspicious activity. I'm just here to stretch before a dinner." Walsh's eyes narrowed. "You don't look like you belong here." The words hit like a slap. Simone's jaw tightened. She knew exactly what he meant. She'd heard it her whole life in different forms. Polite versions, coded versions, but this wasn't coded. This was direct. "I'm a paying member," Simone repeated, her voice sharper now. "I have every right to be here." "Then show me your ID and membership card." "Am I being detained?" Walsh's expression darkened. "Don't start with that legal stuff. Just show me your ID." "I'm asking a simple question. Am I being detained or am I free to go?" "You're being difficult, that's what you're being." Simone felt her anger rising, but she kept her composure. She was a state attorney. She knew her rights better than most people in this building. "I don't have to show you anything without reasonable suspicion," Simone said firmly. "And there is no reasonable suspicion here. I'm a member. I'm dressed for an event. I'm holding a yoga mat. What crime do you think I'm committing?" Walsh stepped even closer, invading her space. "I got a report that someone like you was causing problems, that you don't belong in this area. There's a gym down the street where people like you usually go. Maybe you got confused." "People like me?" Simone's voice was louder now, sharper. "Say what you mean." Walsh smirked. "You know exactly what I mean." A few gym members had stopped to watch. An older white man on the treadmill, 2 women near the water fountain. No one said a word. Simone locked eyes with Walsh. "I'm not going anywhere. I'm a member of this gym, and I have every right to be here. If you want to arrest me, go ahead, but I promise you, this body cam on your chest is going to be your worst nightmare." Walsh's smirk faded.
His hand moved toward his cuffs. "What would you do if you were watching this happen right in front of you?"
Walsh pulled the handcuffs from his belt, the metal glinting under the fluorescent gym lights. "Turn around," he ordered. Simone didn't move. "You're making a mistake." "Turn around now or I'll do it for you." "On what charge?" Simone's voice cut through the air like a blade. "Tell me right now what law I've broken." Walsh's jaw clenched. "Trespassing, disorderly conduct, resisting a lawful order." "Lawful order?" Simone let out a sharp laugh. "You have no legal grounds to detain me. I'm a member here. I showed no aggression. I committed no crime. Your entire basis for this stop is illegal." "You're causing a disturbance." "I'm standing here talking. You're the one who approached me." The elevator doors opened behind them. 3 white women in designer workout clothes stepped out, their conversation stopping the moment they saw Walsh and Simone. They stood frozen, staring. Walsh glanced at them, then back at Simone. "Last chance. Turn around." Simone's hands trembled, but not from fear, from rage, from the weight of every moment like this she'd ever experienced. Every time she'd been followed in a store, every time someone clutched their purse tighter when she walked by, every time she had to prove she belonged somewhere. But this time was different. This time she wasn't going to be silent. "My name is Simone Harper," she said loudly, projecting her voice so everyone in the gym could hear. "I'm a state attorney with the district attorney's office. I'm a member of this gym. I have broken no laws, and this officer is violating my Fourth Amendment rights on camera." Walsh's face reddened. "You think you're smart? You think because you use big words and talk about rights that changes anything? I think your body cam is recording every word you say, and I think you know this is wrong. What's wrong is you being somewhere you don't belong. I belong here just as much as anyone else." Walsh grabbed her arm. Simone jerked back. "Don't touch me." "Stop resisting." "I'm not resisting. You have no legal right to put your hands on me." Walsh lunged forward and grabbed both of Simone's arms, spinning her around toward the wall. She tried to pull away, her emerald dress twisting around her legs. "Get your hands off me," Simone shouted. "This is assault. This is illegal." One of the women near the elevator pulled out her phone and started recording. Walsh saw her. "Put that phone away." The woman hesitated but kept recording. Walsh wrenched Simone's arms behind her back. She struggled, her voice rising in protest. "You're assaulting me. I have done nothing wrong." The cold metal of the handcuffs bit into her wrists. Click, click. Simone gasped, her breathing ragged. She'd been handcuffed, actually handcuffed, in a gym, in front of dozens of people, for doing absolutely nothing. "This is illegal," Simone said, her voice shaking now. "Everything you're doing right now is illegal, and it's all on your body cam." Walsh leaned in close, his breath hot against her ear. "Maybe this'll teach you to know your place." Simone froze. Those words, "know your place." The other gym members stood in silence. Some looked uncomfortable, some looked away, but no one spoke up. No one intervened. Walsh grabbed Simone by the arm and started pulling her toward the elevator. Her yoga mat fell to the floor. Her gym bag slipped off her shoulder. "Where are you taking me?" Simone demanded. "Station, you're under arrest." "For what?" "Trespassing, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest." "I wasn't resisting. I was exercising my rights." The elevator doors opened. Walsh shoved Simone inside. She stumbled but caught herself, her wrists still cuffed behind her back. The woman who'd been recording stepped back, her phone still raised. Walsh turned to her. "Delete that video." The woman's eyes widened. I have the right to record." "Delete it or you're next." The woman's hand trembled. She lowered the phone but didn't delete anything. The elevator doors closed. Simone stood in the small metal box, her chest heaving, her mind racing. This couldn't be happening. This couldn't be real. She was a state attorney.
She prosecuted cases. She knew the law inside and out. And yet here she was, handcuffed, being dragged out of a gym like a criminal. "You know this is wrong," Simone said quietly, staring at Walsh's reflection in the elevator's mirrored wall. "You know it." Walsh didn't respond. His expression was blank, cold. The elevator descended in silence. When the doors opened on the ground floor, Rebecca Winters was standing near the exit, arms crossed, watching. Her face held a trace of satisfaction. She didn't say a word. She just watched as Walsh marched Simone past her and out into the parking lot. The evening air was cool. The sun was setting, casting orange light across the asphalt. Simone's emerald dress fluttered in the breeze. She was supposed to be at a birthday dinner right now. She was supposed to be laughing with friends, celebrating, living her life. Instead, she was being shoved into the back of a police cruiser. Walsh opened the door and pushed her head down, forcing her into the seat. The door slammed shut. Simone stood in the dark, confined space, her wrists aching from the cuffs, her heart pounding in her chest. And then she remembered. Walsh's body cam. It had been on the entire time. Every word, every movement, every illegal action. He'd recorded his own downfall. Do you think the body cam footage will be enough to prove what really happened?
The police station smelled like stale coffee and disinfectant. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Walsh led Simone through the booking area, her hands still cuffed behind her back, her emerald dress now wrinkled and twisted. Other officers glanced up from their desks. Some looked curious. Some looked indifferent. None of them questioned why a woman in an evening gown was being brought in like a common criminal. "Name," the booking officer said, not looking up from his computer. "Simone Harper," she answered, her voice steady despite everything. "Harper." The officer typed slowly, then paused. His eyes flicked to his screen, then to Simone, then back to the screen. "Occupation?" "State attorney, district attorney's office." The officer's fingers stopped moving. He looked up at Walsh. "State attorney?" Walsh shrugged. "That's what she claims." "It's not a claim," Simone said firmly. "It's a fact, and I'm telling you right now, this arrest is illegal. I was detained without cause, assaulted, and falsely arrested. Everything is on his body cam." The booking officer shifted uncomfortably. "What's the charge?" "Trespassing, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest," Walsh said. "At a gym, I'm a paying member. A gym I've belonged to for 8 months. Check the records, call Elevation Fitness. My membership is active." The booking officer looked at Walsh again. "Did you verify her membership?" "Didn't need to. Got a call about suspicious activity. She matched the description." "What description?" Simone's voice rose. "What exactly was the description?" Walsh ignored her. "Just book her." The officer hesitated, then continued typing. Simone could see it in his face. He knew something was wrong, but he wasn't going to say anything. He wasn't going to stop it. They took her fingerprints, her mugshot. They removed her jewelry and placed it in a plastic bag. The emerald dress that was supposed to make her feel beautiful now felt like a costume in a nightmare. "I get a phone call," Simone said. "You'll get your call," Walsh muttered. They led her to a holding cell. The door clanged shut behind her. Simone stood in the center of the small concrete room, her mind racing. She had to think, had to plan. This wasn't just about her anymore. This was about every person who'd ever been treated this way and didn't have the knowledge or resources to fight back. 2 hours later, they finally let her make a call. She dialed her colleague, Marcus Chen, another state attorney she'd worked with for years. "Marcus, it's Simone." "Simone? Where are you? Everyone's at Lucia's birthday dinner waiting for you." "I'm at the 4th precinct. I've been arrested." Silence on the other end. Then, "What?" "I was at Elevation Fitness. A cop arrested me for trespassing at a gym I'm a member of. Marcus, he violated every protocol. Everything's on his body cam. I need you to get down here, and I need you to file a complaint immediately." "I'm on my way." Marcus arrived within 30 minutes. By then, word had spread through the DA's office.
Simone Harper, one of their most respected prosecutors, had been arrested at a gym. The story didn't make sense. Nothing about it made sense. Marcus posted her bail. She walked out of that station at 11 p.m., still wearing her wrinkled emerald dress, her eyes tired but her resolve stronger than ever. "They're going to regret this," Simone said quietly as they walked to Marcus's car. "What do you want to do?" "Everything by the book. I want Walsh's body cam footage. I want the gym's CCTV footage. I want Rebecca Winter's call to dispatch. I want every single piece of evidence documented and preserved." "You're going after him." "I'm going after all of them." The next morning, Simone didn't go into hiding. She didn't take time off. She walked into the DA's office at 8 a.m. dressed in a sharp black suit, her head held high. Her supervisor, Helen Ortiz, called her into her office immediately. "Simone, are you all right?" "I'm fine, but I need your support on something. I'm filing a formal complaint against Officer Derek Walsh, and I'm pursuing a federal civil rights lawsuit against the city." Helen leaned back in her chair. "You know what you're up against. Police unions, political pressure. This won't be easy." "I know, but if I don't fight this, who will?" Helen nodded slowly. "You'll have the office's full support. What do you need?" "Access to Walsh's body cam footage, and I need to subpoena the gym's CCTV. "Consider it done." By that afternoon, Simone had the footage. She sat in a conference room with Marcus and 2 other attorneys, watching the entire encounter play out on screen. Walsh's body cam captured everything: Rebecca's phone call, Walsh approaching Simone without cause, his illegal demands for ID, his refusal to verify her membership, the moment he grabbed her, the moment he said, "Maybe this'll teach you to know your place." Every second of it. Marcus whistled low. "This is damning." "It gets worse," Simone said. She pulled up the gym's CCTV footage. The camera showed Simone entering the gym, walking calmly to the locker room, then heading towards the stretching area. No erratic behavior, no confrontation with anyone, nothing that could remotely be considered suspicious. Then it showed Rebecca Winters behind the desk, watching Simone walk by. The moment Simone disappeared from view, Rebecca picked up the phone. The timestamp showed she called police less than 60 seconds after Simone entered the building. "She lied," said Marcus. "She said there was suspicious activity, but there was nothing. She just saw a black woman and made the call." Simone nodded. "And Walsh didn't even try to verify anything. He just assumed I was guilty." The footage went viral within 48 hours. Someone leaked it to the media. Local news picked it up first, then national outlets. The video of a state attorney being handcuffed in an evening gown at a luxury gym spread across every platform. People were outraged. The police department issued a statement calling it an unfortunate misunderstanding, but the footage spoke for itself. Do you think a simple apology is enough for what Simone went through?
Special Agent Claudia Reeves contacted Simone directly. They met at a coffee shop downtown, away from the media circus that had erupted around the case. "Miss Harper, we've reviewed the body cam footage and the gym's CCTV," Agent Reeves said, sliding a folder across the table. "We are pursuing this as a civil rights violation under Title 18, Section 242, Deprivation of Rights under Color of Law." Simone opened the folder. Inside were documents she'd been waiting to see: Walsh's personnel file, his disciplinary record, his history. "He's done this before," Simone said quietly, scanning the pages. 4 times in the past 6 years, Agent Reeves confirmed, all involving black civilians. 2 complaints were dismissed. 1 resulted in a suspension. 1 is still pending, but none of them had video evidence like yours. Simone's jaw tightened. 4 times. 4 people who'd been harassed, violated, humiliated, and the department had done nothing to stop him. "What about Rebecca Winters?" Simone asked. Agent Reeves pulled out another document. "We pulled the 911 call. She reported suspicious activity and claimed you were acting aggressively toward other gym members. The CCTV proves that was a complete fabrication. You never interacted with anyone. You walked in, went to your locker, and headed to the stretching area."
So she lied to get me arrested. That's exactly what she did. And we have evidence of previous calls she's made to police about black gym members. 3 calls in the past year alone, all claiming suspicious behavior, none of them substantiated. Simone felt sick. This wasn't just about her. This was a pattern, a system designed to exclude people who looked like her. "We're building a strong case," Agent Reeves said, "but I need to be honest with you. This is going to get ugly. Walsh has supporters in the department. The police union is already preparing a defense. They'll try to discredit you. They'll dig into your past. They'll make this about anything other than what it actually is." "Let them try," Simone said. "I've spent my career in courtrooms. I know how this works." Agent Reeves smiled slightly. "I believe you do." Over the next 2 months, the investigation intensified. Federal prosecutors interviewed witnesses from the gym. They analyzed Walsh's body cam frame by frame. They examined Rebecca's phone records and found text messages she'd sent to friends complaining about black members joining the gym. One message read, "This used to be a nice place. Now we're letting anyone in." Another, "I don't feel safe with these people around." The evidence was overwhelming. Walsh was placed on administrative leave, but he wasn't arrested. Not yet. The police union argued that he was following protocol, that he responded to a legitimate call, that Simone's resistance justified the use of force. But the body cam footage destroyed every one of those arguments. Simone's lawsuit against the city moved forward simultaneously. Her legal team was airtight. They had the footage, they had the witness statements, they had Walsh's history, they had Rebecca's lies documented in black and white. The city's attorneys reached out to settle within 6 weeks. Simone sat across from them in a conference room, her expression unreadable. "We're prepared to offer $200,000, the city's lead attorney said, "in exchange for a non-disclosure agreement and your agreement not to pursue criminal charges." Simone didn't blink. "I'm not signing an NDA, and I don't control whether criminal charges are filed. That's up to the federal prosecutors." "Ms. Harper, we're trying to resolve this amicably." "There's nothing amicable about what happened to me. I was assaulted and falsely arrested by one of your officers. He violated my constitutional rights on camera, and your department has allowed him to do this to others for years. You don't get to pay me to be quiet." The attorney shifted uncomfortably. "What do you want?" "The $200,000, no NDA, a public apology from the police chief, and Officer Walsh fired immediately." "We can't agree to termination. That's a union matter." "Then we go to trial," Simone said, standing, "and I promise you a jury will award me a lot more than $200,000. The city settled on her terms 2 weeks later. Meanwhile, the federal case against Walsh moved to indictment. A grand jury reviewed the evidence and returned charges: deprivation of rights under color of law, false arrest, and assault. Walsh was finally arrested at his home on a Tuesday morning. The news cameras captured him being led out in handcuffs, his face red with anger. His attorney released a statement claiming Walsh was a dedicated officer who'd been unfairly targeted, but the evidence didn't care about statements. Simone also filed a separate lawsuit against Rebecca Winters for filing a false police report and defamation. Rebecca's attorney tried to argue she'd acted in good faith, that she genuinely believed there was a problem, but the CCTV destroyed that defense. The jury could see with their own eyes that Simone had done nothing wrong. They could read Rebecca's text messages. They could hear the venom in her voice on the 911 call. Rebecca settled for $75,000 and a written apology that Simone insisted be published in the local newspaper. The apology read, "I falsely reported Simone Harper to police and made untrue statements about her behavior. My actions were wrong and caused her significant harm. I deeply regret my actions." It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. But it was something. Walsh's trial began 4 months after the arrest. The prosecution presented the body cam footage on the first day. The courtroom fell silent as Walsh's voice echoed through the speakers. "Maybe this will teach you to know your place." The jury heard those words. They saw Simone's face. They saw the illegal detention, the assault, the contempt. Walsh's attorney tried to claim he was following training, that he perceived a threat, that Simone's refusal to show ID justified his actions. But Simone took the stand and dismantled every argument with precision and clarity. I broke no laws. I posed no threat. I was a member of that gym. Officer Walsh targeted me because of the color of my skin. Everything else is an excuse. The jury deliberated for less than 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. How do you think Walsh felt when he heard that verdict?
The courtroom was packed on sentencing day. Simone sat in the front row, her hands folded in her lap, her expression calm but her heart pounding. She'd waited 6 months for this moment. Walsh sat at the defense table in a cheap suit, his face pale, his eyes fixed on the floor. Gone was the arrogance she'd seen that day at the gym. Gone was the smirk. All that remained was a broken man facing the consequences of his actions. Judge Patricia Coleman entered the courtroom. Everyone rose. "Be seated," Judge Coleman said, settling into her chair. She looked at Walsh over her glasses, then at the prosecution, then back at Walsh. "Mr. Walsh, you've been found guilty of deprivation of rights under color of law, false arrest, and assault. Before I hand down your sentence, I want to say something." The courtroom went silent. "You were given a badge and a gun and the public's trust," Judge Coleman continued. "You were supposed to protect people. Instead, you used your authority to harm an innocent woman because of the color of her skin. You didn't just violate her rights, you violated the oath you took. You betrayed every good officer who does their job with integrity." Walsh's attorney stood. "Your Honor, my client has served the community for 12 years. He has a family. He made a mistake in judgment, but—" "This wasn't a mistake," Judge Coleman interrupted. "Mistakes are accidental. This was intentional. This was malicious. And this was part of a pattern, as evidenced by his disciplinary record." She looked down at the sentencing documents. "Derek Walsh, I hereby sentence you to 15 years in federal prison. You will serve a minimum of 12 years before being eligible for parole. You are permanently barred from law enforcement in any capacity." 15 years. The courtroom erupted in whispers. Walsh's face crumbled. His wife, sitting behind him, began to cry. Simone felt no satisfaction, no joy, just a quiet sense of closure. Justice had been served, but it didn't erase what had happened. It didn't give her back the dignity she'd lost that day. It didn't undo the trauma. But it meant something. It meant the system had worked, even if it had taken too long. After the sentencing, Simone stood outside the courthouse. Reporters rushed toward her, cameras flashing, microphones extended. "Ms. Harper, how do you feel about the sentence? Do you think 15 years is enough? What message do you want to send to other victims?" Simone held up a hand. The crowd quieted. "This case was never just about me. It was about every person who's been targeted, harassed, or abused by someone in a position of power. Derek Walsh is going to prison because he violated my constitutional rights. But there are countless others who didn't have video evidence, who didn't have the resources to fight back, who were silenced." She paused, looking directly into the cameras. "My hope is that this case sends a message. Body cameras work, accountability matters, and no one is above the law." The settlement with the city had been finalized the week before. $200,000, no NDA, a public apology from Police Chief Raymond Hall, who stood at a podium and admitted the department had failed to properly oversee Walsh's conduct. It felt hollow, but it was progress. Rebecca Winters lost her job at Elevation Fitness 3 days after settling the lawsuit. The gym's corporate office released a statement saying her actions didn't reflect their values. She moved out of state shortly after. Simone never saw her again. Simone returned to work at the DA's office 2 weeks after Walsh's sentencing. She walked through the doors with her head high, ready to continue the work she loved. But something had changed inside her.
She started volunteering with a civil rights organization, offering free legal advice to people who'd experienced police misconduct. She spoke at community events. She testified before city council about the need for police reform. She turned her pain into purpose. One evening, 6 months after the sentencing, Simone returned to Elevation Fitness. She hadn't been back since that day. She stood in the parking lot, staring at the building, her heart racing. Part of her wanted to walk away, find a new gym, avoid the memories. But another part of her refused to be driven out of a place she had every right to be. She walked through the front doors. The new manager, a young woman named Kiera, greeted her warmly. "Ms. Harper, welcome back. Your membership is still active. We're so glad to see you." Simone nodded. "Thank you." She walked to the elevator, pressed the button for the 3rd floor, rode up in silence. When the doors opened, she stepped out into the same hallway where Walsh had confronted her, the same spot where he'd put her in handcuffs. But this time, she was free. She walked to the stretching area, rolled out her yoga mat, and began her workout. No one stared, no one whispered, no one called the police. She was just another member, just another person trying to live her life. And that's all she'd ever wanted to be. Simone's case became a landmark example in civil rights law. It was cited in training materials for police departments across the country. It was taught in law schools. It became part of a larger conversation about accountability, bias, and justice. But for Simone, it was personal. It was about reclaiming her dignity. It was about standing up when it would have been easier to stay silent. It was about proving that even when the system fails, it can still be forced to do what's right. Do you think justice was truly served? What would you have done in Simone's position? If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and drop a comment below telling us what you think. Should there be harsher penalties for officers who abuse their power? We want to hear from you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.